preferred to have run Marshmoo in the Woolhavington, but clearly your training methods are such that it's perfect for her to go into this race with this little gallop here at Greyville.
Yeah, yes and no, Andrew. You know, she's a filly that we have battled with her immune system in the past. So, you know, it was well, it was disappointing not to have a run. I'm not too phased by it. It may actually work out in her favour, and that she comes in here a little fresher, because this filly runs extremely well fresh. So, you know, at the time it's devastating, but with hindsight, it might just be the right thing.
I remember very clearly the look on Anthony Delpech's face when he came back after a courageous run behind Wiley Hall, saying, boy, she just needed one more run after that run in the Empress Club.
Yeah, I would say it was a little bit of a flat run, and it's probably a run that knocked her. And the knock-on effect was probably the fact that she was a little down going into the fillies race when she sprung a temperature the week before. It was nothing serious. I mean, we didn't even really have to do much to treat her and that kind of thing. She just really was showing us that maybe she's just a little bit flat and a bit down, which is what this filly does. You know, this filly is quite simply, when she's right, she lets you know she's right. But equally, when she's wrong, she lets you know the same thing.
Well, when you consider the horses that Anthony's ridden, the Vengeances of Rain, Igugu, Bold Silvano, you know, maybe we shouldn't speak about them in the same breath. He said this is probably the best horse that he's ever sat on.
Anthony says that every time he gets on one of my good ones. Problem with him, he's got amnesia.
Okay, Mike, when you talk about Pine Princess, here's a filly that has come from under the radar right into the big picture, and it's just so typical of her pedigree, the way she's progressed.
Yeah, I've been very happy with this filly's progression. But it must be said that I think she needed the run last time. I had to back off after the Oaks. I mean, you couldn't just keep cracking her way. It would be the wrong thing to do. She's in a very good space at the moment. She's super fit, and she's really, really well. You know, I think it's probably very good each-way value, because she's drawn well. She's a filly that can go forward. She's a filly that can sit back. So Warren can do whatever the pace dictates. So, yeah, she's pretty good value, and coming in here under the radar because there's so many other boom horses.
Would you say kind of a similar preparation to Gray's in a way?
Yeah, well, he went Derby, Daily News there, and Daily News, I backed off him as well. I think he ran third or fourth. I'm not quite sure, but you know, he made that significant improvement. It's impossible to keep them at a peak month in, month out. You know, one has to somewhere put the brakes on, and so if that costs you a race, well, it does. But at the end of the day, the eye's on the big prize, really.
And I remember speaking to you after the Woolhavington. You weren't entirely happy with the way things mapped out. You would prefer to have had cover as you did in the gallop today.
Yeah, sure. She is a filly that can run from the front. There's no doubt about it. But she actually is, in my opinion, better from behind, as you saw in the Oaks. In the Oaks, we made sure that there was a good pace on. She sat in behind, and she likes a scrap. She gets into a fight. She's done this before. She comes back. She gets headed. She comes back. She's a very, very courageous filly.
She really fights nicely. Now, if there is a mayor of Maritzfontein, I would have to say that it's probably Hunting Tower, but the deputy mayor has to be Forest Path, and he was the horse that Warren Kennedy ran into third at a big price in the Vodacom Durban July. So he's got big match temperament, this kid.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no worries about Warren Kennedy. At the end of the day, he's a very competent rider, and you know, I firmly believe that he's got the right temperament.
Hard worker.
Very hard worker.
Dean KANNEMEYER with us on this bright Thursday morning, former Vodacom Durban July trainer. Today I see you did almost what Mike Bass did with Trademark with Hot Ticket. No need to prove anything and break any records.
No, absolutely. No, it's a condition of entry that you got to appear on Thursday morning for July Gallop. So, you know, he was stiff in the Derby on Sunday. So I just came here to show him, show the crowd the horse, and he's pulled up sound after that race, which is very encouraging. Last year when he was champion state of the country, he used to have a few aches and pains, and he had a forced break for a couple of months, and he's moving very, very well. But all just to appear here on Thursday morning.
It's quite remarkable that that's what happens with horses as they get older. Sometimes they get over their niggles.
Well, a lot of young horses go through growing pains, and they're just not handling the training. But he had a forced break due to a wind up, which has been very successful. So I'm pleased about that.
Power King, not the smoothest of movers when he goes down to the start in a race, but he's moving very well today.
I think he's moving exceptionally well. He's a horse that, like most horses, had little issues and that. But since he's come to Durban, he's really been thriving, and he's been moving exceptionally well. And I was pleased with his workout now with solid speed. He's not a strong worker, Power King. He's actually a pretty weak worker. And when I work him back, I'm always trying work him with weak horses. But he moved well, and I was very pleased with his gallop this morning.
He's a horse that I've got a very soft spot for. He's just come back right now. Safe to say, put the Met run behind him.
I would say yes. He went a little bit below himself in the Met. We thought he'd be in the first 4. But, he comes in with 53. A very, very good run the other day in the Gravel 1900. A little unlucky, just couldn't get there. And 4-year-old with 53. Need a little luck in the running of the race. I think he comes in as a player in this race.
Let me stick my neck out and say that I think the best each-way bet in the race is Power King. I think he's drawn well. He's as honest as the day is long. For a 4-year-old who won 2 legs of the Winter Triple Crown, which Pocket Power won, if you recall, as a 3-year-old, with 53 kilograms on his back, receiving weight. Dean KANNEMEYER will have him perfect on the day. He looked well this morning. I think he's as good at each-way bet as you'll find in the race. So that's where my each-way money will be.
Well, my heart did a skip of joy when you said, I thought you were going to say Pine Princess. So I'm going to extend an offer to you, an even 100 wherever they finish, Pine Princess and Power King.
Oh, give me the money now, Andrew. Give me the money now. Having said that, on a serious note, obviously the one issue about the draws and is the pace. I obviously always hope in the VODACOM Durban July that they go a solid gallop, but it's not guaranteed. We saw last year that they didn't go a solid gallop. So hopefully they do go a solid gallop, and perhaps the restoring of the field to 18 runners, putting 2 more runners in the race will help guarantee some kind of a pace. We were chatting off air with a couple of the riders as to where the pace might be. I know that Pine Princess was a reluctant leader in the Willavington, but she might find herself from a handy draw a reluctant leader in the VODACOM Durban July as well. Obviously Sean Terry must have a plan.
Tammany, yeah.
So I don't know what his plan is.
She has to commit.
But he's got 5 runners in the race, and I'm sure that for French Navy and Legal Eagle, he would like to see a bit of a pace on, because both of them tend to come from a little way off them. So a slow run race is not going to suit him. So we hope for a true run race. That's my first wish, is for a solid race, not a stupid pace, but a solidly run race, which gives everybody a fair opportunity. Just who will make the running is anybody's guess. But probably Pine Princess and Tammany, the 2 lightly weighted fillies, might commit early. And obviously we've seen that horses that go up there in the VODACOM Durban July have as good a chance of finishing in the money as any. So it's always an advantage to have the horses behind you when you turn into the short straight rather than in front of you. I think that's not rocket science. You don't have to weave your way through anywhere. So I think that I'm hoping for a true run race, but I'm happy to race you for $100 Pine Princess versus Power King. As I said, I'll start planning on how I'm going to spend that money.